Mr. Hansen's new record. Mr. Hansen's new record. Mr. Hansen's new record.
Welcome back to another episode of Mr. Anderson's News Network. Hey, Black Bitcoiners matter too. Hey, I know you've been working hard, save your money, and grow your finances. I just wanted to share something that's been on my mind. Have you ever seriously considered owning Bitcoin? I know it sounds like one of those tech buzzwords, but hear me out. It's today's economy and tomorrow's, and you'll see. I genuinely believe it could be a smart way to protect and grow your wealth. I get it. It's not something most people fully understand. I was skeptical too at first. But once I started researching, I realized how important Bitcoin could be, especially with all the uncertainty around inflation, government policies, and traditional financial systems. I just don't want you to miss out on something that could really make a difference in your future. Think about it. The value of the dollar keeps dropping. Inflation is eating away at savings faster than people can realize. The money we have in the bank loses purchasing power every year. That's where Bitcoin comes in. It's not controlled by any government or central bank. There's a fixed supply. Only 21 million Bitcoins will ever exist. So unlike dollars, they can't just print more whenever they feel like it. That makes Bitcoin resistant to inflation, which is huge. Plus, governments around the world are printing money like crazy. That might help in the short term, but it creates a lot of long-term problems for global economy. Bitcoin is like a hedge against that chaos. It's a way to opt out of the system that's failing so many people right now. And it's not just about inflation. Bitcoin is being used in practical ways all over the world. In countries where people can't trust their bank or government's currency, Bitcoin gives them financial freedom. In places like Argentina or Turkey, where inflation is skyrocketing, people are turning to Bitcoin because it holds its value better than their national currencies. Even here, Bitcoin is gaining traction. Big companies like Tesla and MicroStrategies are buying it. Payment services like PayPal and Cash App are letting people buy, sell, and use Bitcoin. It's becoming more mainstream every day. You don't need to be a tech genius to use it. There are apps that makes it as simple as sending a text. Of course, I'm not saying Bitcoin is perfect. It's still a relatively new technology, and the price can be volatile. That's one of the biggest risks you could buy. That's one of the biggest risks. You could buy at a high point and then the value drops temporarily. But here's the thing. Historically, Bitcoin's value has always trended up over the long term. People who hold on to it instead of trying to time the market usually come out ahead. There's always the issue of security. You probably heard stories of people losing their Bitcoin because they didn't store it properly. But that's something you can avoid by learning how to use a secure cold wallet. And that's a wallet that's off the exchanges. That's a wallet that you self-custody yourself. If you're careful and do a little homework, the risks are manageable. It's like anything else. There's a learning curve, but it's worth it. Another thing to think about is how Bitcoin compares to other investments. Stocks can be great, but they're tied to the performance of companies, and sometimes that means they're vulnerable to the market crashes. Real estate is solid too, but it's not liquid. You can't just sell part of a house to if you need cash. And both of these options are affected by inflation. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is like digital gold. It's portable, divisible, and liquid. You can buy a little or as much as you want. Plus, you can access it anytime, anywhere, in any world. It gives you a kind of financial flexibility that traditionally investments just don't offer. One of the things I love most about Bitcoin is the philosophy behind it. It's about taking control of your own money instead of relying on banks or governments. It's decentralized, meaning no one can shut it down or take it away from you. In a way, it's financial independence. And let's not forget the growth potential. Some analysts predict Bitcoin could reach hundreds of thousands of dollars per coin in the next decade. Even if it doesn't reach those numbers, owning just a fraction of a Bitcoin can still be a great investment over time. It's about being part of something that's changing the way the world thinks about money. Look, I'm not saying you should put all your money in Bitcoin. That's not what I'm talking about. But even a small investment can make a difference. Start with what you're comfortable losing, maybe 1%, 5% of your savings. Think of it as a way to diversify your portfolio and protect yourself from the risk of traditional financial systems. And if you're not sure where to start, I can help you figure it out. I've learned a little bit about buying Bitcoin safely and securely, and I'd be happy in more and more videos to show you ways of how to secure it and how to get the job done. I just want you to think about it. The world is changing fast. You don't want to look back in a few years and wish you've done something sooner. Bitcoin might seem complicated, but it could also be one of the best financial decisions you ever make. And once again, Black Bitcoiners matter. Once again, this is Mr. Anderson from Mr. Anderson's News Network. I want y'all to be safe out there. I want y'all to get into investments, get into investing, get into that Bitcoin. You'll be glad you did. Don't try to time the market. Put the money you can afford to put in there. Let it sit in there. Hey, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I just think this is something that's be a smart move. You should look into it, do your own research. And that's all I have to say. Hey, have a great day. And everybody, all the family out there, be safe.